Reddit is asking a very interesting question. How sex negative or really into realistic female character designs is American entertainment media currently? I am pretty sure more live action stuff such as WAP and OnlyFans are protected ignored. But what about things that are drawn, animated, and CGI? A lot of comic books coming from USA or even Europe have pretty much all ladies covered up from neck to below. It's even worse than that. They give them titty cancer. Every single woman in Marvel Comics has titty cancer. There is no breast that goes over C size. Like C is already massive. It's because all the women have gone through breast surgery. And they have smaller breasts, which is why they cover them up. To hide the scars. All jokes aside though, I find this very interesting. Like WAP and OnlyFans are protected ignored. The way this nonsense started was with feminism. They claim that if a company hires a woman to dress as a pretty elf and sell a video game, that's exploitative. So using sexy women in commercials is rape culture. It's patriarchal. And it's part of late-stage capitalism. And they accuse companies of sexism. And companies, in order to try to prove that they are not sexist, have decided to remove such women from their advertisements. Now, it's bizarre because if you are a woman that works at E3 as a booth babe, that is problematic. But if you're someone's daughter and you're streaming on Twitch in order to get bits while you titillate yourself, that is progressive. So yes, OnlyFans and things like WAP are being promoted, while at the same time companies that hire booth babes are being shamed. I don't understand why this is either. I mean, I guess if Jeff Bezos makes a company, then it's fine, but if a video game developer hires a booth babe, then it's not. This actually led to the controversy of one zombie unicorn who titillates herself on Twitch. I mean, to the point where she painted her boobies. And I can't even show you this here because YouTube would flag it down. But on Twitch, it's allowed. And this woman, who I have nothing against, I mean, if you want to sell your body, go for it. That's capitalism. But she complained that booth babes at E3 exist. I guess they're taking out the competition? I don't know. It's very weird. But there is this contradiction, as you pointed out. Another contradiction exists within the same cartoons and comic books. Like, for example, in the game Mortal Kombat, all the women are androgynous. So it's not that they're just dressed all the way up, at least on launch. Now they have a couple of skins because apparently the developers realized they can make some money. But at launch, most of the female characters were dressed all the way up. They were androgynous, broad shoulders, short hair, jawline that made me jealous. I mean, very square jawline that you could cut diamonds with. So all their femininity was robbed away from them. Funny enough how all these progressives, they can't tell what a woman is, but they're very accurate at removing everything that would constitute as traditional femininity. And then when you look at the men, all the men are buffed. They're like Greek gods and they look very nice in the same game. I mean, the men are still masculine. Interesting. Now, another contradiction happens to be with the idea that it's unhealthy for women psychologically to see all these beautiful girls in beauty magazines because it creates an unrealistic standard of beauty. So women can't achieve that standard, even though like on the beauty magazines you have actual women who have achieved the standard. But it makes girls feel insecure. And instead of helping girls feel secure about themselves, we need to remove from society the triggers that make them insecure. But then you look at Marvel with Captain America, who has an unhealthy muscle build, if you think about it. I mean, the muscles out there aren't to help him with anything. It's just aesthetic. And it's to aesthetically please the fans. And that's fine. I mean, that is perfectly fine. But if you are to have a woman that is aesthetically pleasing, then that is not fine. people point out that most of this is targeting media that's for men. To a point that is also correct. I mean, they don't go after Candy Crush. They don't go after Farmville. I don't know if that game exists, but it's not the game that they're targeting. They don't go after 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight. They go after stuff that men like, which I assume is because men are responding better to this shaming tactics, and women just don't give a shit. I mean, it's kind of hard to shame a woman for liking, I don't know, like Mortal Kombat 9. The one where women were sexy. And it's quite surprising that if you actually talk with women who play video games, they do prefer the titillation. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? It's an objective standard of beauty, I guess. Like, you just find it beautiful by looking at it. I know this is shocking because everyone says beauty is subjective, but I went over a couple of videos where I explained, yeah, a trash can is objectively ugly. Like, people aren't going to put a picture of a trash can over their bedroom wall. Like, how do I know? How do I know that you don't like it if beauty is subjective? How do I know that you don't want a trash can? But then a picturesque mountain, well, there might be people who say they're not really into that, but no one is going to look at a picturesque mountain and say, oh my god, that is so ugly, I don't want it near me. It's disgusting. The mountain, it triggers me, reminds me of the time the dragon came in. No one does that. So there is this problem, this inconsistency that exists in Western art, and it's very difficult for them to explain. You know, the Christians also censored, but they explained it's like, okay, because it's sinful, God doesn't like it. So it was like a simple explanation. The Chinese are censoring, and they also have like simple explanation because it demasculinizes men and blah blah blah. But with the West, they really don't. So they have to constantly come up with stuff like, well, it's because we want realistic women, and by realistic they mean androgynous, or because we want our company to mature, and by mature they mean like removing any titillation from it. And they constantly come up with it. We need like realistic costume designs, but they never talk about like, okay, well, why not realistic weapons then? I mean, they never complain that there can be a guy that's having a sword 5 times his size. Like, that's fine. I mean, all of a sudden, realistic weapons don't apply, right? Like gun physics or anything like that. They don't care. It's just the costume, and it's just the costume for women that have to be realistic. But hey, let me know what you think, and if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.